Oh, folks, well, I was talking to a mate of mine, and I says to him, "What's the matter, me old son?" He says, "I ain't got any money." I says, that sounds about, like most of us. I says, "Well, why don't you use IOUs?" He says, "IOUs?" He says, "What do you mean?" He says, "I can't use IOUs." I say, "Well, everybody else does." He says, "What are you on about, mate?" I says, "Humour me." He says, "Alright." He says, "Well, I was going to ask you a favour." See? So I says, "Yeah, alright. So you want me to do something for you?" He says, "Well, I wouldn't mind." I says, "Well, alright then. But just humour me for the moment. You'll have to do it with one of my IOUs." He says, "What are you on about?" I says, "Well, if you want me to do something for you, you pay me with one of my IOUs." He says, that sounds a bit silly." I says, "No, just humour me for the moment." He says, "Alright, okay then. How do I get one of your IOUs?" I says, "Well, you got something that you could sell me, and then I'll give you an IOU, see, because I ain't got any money. So if you give me something, what I need, and I'll give you an IOU, then you got one of my IOUs, and then you can give me my IOU when I'm back for doing something for you later on, see?" He says, "I think I see, right." So anyway, he says, "Well, what have I got that you want?" I says, "You ain't got nothing." He says, sounds me, I ain't got a lot." He says, "So how am I supposed to get this IOU if I ain't got nothing?" I said, "Well, you could borrow it from me." He says, "Borrow an IOU? Borrow it?" I said, "Yeah, go on, just humour me." "Alright then." He says, "How many, what's this IOU worth then?" I say, "Well, let's call it a tenner." Right, so it's 10 IOU from Dave, right? He says, "Alright." I said, "I'll charge you one extra IOU from Dave for borrowing it." He says, "You what? I'm a mate." I says, "Just humour me." He says, "Alright." So anyway, I write out this IOU. He says, "You're just making that up as you go along, ain't you?" I say, "Yeah." So I give him this 10 IOU. I says, "You can cash it in with me." He says, "I promise to pay, doesn't it?" He says, "Yeah." So anyway, I does this bit of work for him, and because he pays me back with me IOU, and I says, "Remember, you still owe me one IOU." He said, "How am I supposed to get that?" I said, "Well, you could borrow it from me." He says, "Oh," he says, this is a bit good. You're like I don't think this would work in real life, because I'd always be in debt to you." I said, "I think it would work in real life." He says, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, you got any money in your pocket?" He says, "I've got a fiver." I says, "Well, you take that fiver to the Bank of England and see what they give you." He said, "Well, they'd give me a bit of gold, wouldn't they?" I say, how long have you been around, mate?" He says, "What do you mean?" I say, "Well, I've been on the gold standard for until from the 1930s. He says, "Oh, and they?" I says, "No, they just give you another piece of paper that says I promise to pay you £5. He says, "Well, that's no good. That's like your IOUs, isn't it?" I said, "Exactly. You come to me with one of my IOUs wanting it paid, I'll give you another IOU, won't I? What I write and I make out of thin air." He says, "It don't work like that, does it?" I said, "That's how it works." He said, "Cool, I didn't know that." I said, "There you go. See?" So that was a little silly explanation of how the money system works. But can't seem to get the government to change over from Her Majesty's IOUs to to Dave's IOUs. If we could do that, Dave would be rich. But working on that one. Maybe I'll write to my MP on that one. Cheers.